So welcome everyone to Unity Center of Peace. My name is Mary Shapiro. I'm so glad you're all here. Our theme today is God and Dog, what I've learned from both sides. And our opening song, feel free to sing along. You will kind of be echoing me. My husband left. I thought he was still going to be here and echo too, but because we're on Zoom, your mics are going to be off and Neil's going to make sure that that's true. And thank you for adding the names of your pets in the chat that he will join in the song during the thanks verse. So here we go. Unconditionally. You can sing the love part. Love of life. Love of each other. Love of yourself. Love God. Whatever you think God is. Forgive. Forgive each other. Forgive yourself. Forgive God. Give thanks. Oh, give thanks.
Wesley,
Thankful for all the dogs in our lives. Let's hear those things.
Lisa, Buddy, Monique, Angie, Emma, Eva, Cheetah. We're not hearing the music.
I'm softening it so that you can hear the words. Any more names of pets out there? Is that it, Neil?
There's probably more. Maggie, let's
There
see.
you go.
If I didn't call out your pet, just scream at me later.
Doug, Natasha, Nikita, Tony. Always give thanks and smile freely. Smile at life. Smile at each other. Smile at yourself. Smile at God. Smiling produces endogenous opiates that help you smile and give thanks and forgive and love and love and love. So Neil, you are.
Okay. Let me get our statements here.
Hey Neil, I have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
Were you getting a lot of echo? Because we were getting a lot here with Mr. Wolf and myself.
Yeah, I think some people said they couldn't hear, so I tried to mute myself. We wanted suggestions from Cindy, but it's just somehow, the guitar seems to overwhelm the voice, and then everything goes down. So
Okay.
maybe not having it hooked up and just doing a regular guitar with your voice,
Okay.
because your voice is picked
How
up
is,
great.
yeah, Jeff just did something right now. Are you still getting a lot of echo from us when I
No,
speak?
no.
No, I'm just going to try. Love. Is that better?
It's a mix between the guitar, the music, and your voice. I prefer the voice because I don't want to lose you if it comes
Right.
to that.
Are you still receiving all of the echoes that we were receiving here?
I'm not.
No? Okay, great. Thank you so much. Sorry for that, folks. And Neil.
Yes, Neil. Okay, I am. I'm kneeling as we speak. Let's do our statements. Our vision statement: Unity Center of Peace is a thriving spiritual community offering love, peace, and support to all. Our mission statement: we spread the unity message by opening our doors and our hearts to the healing and expansion of personal and global consciousness. Our prosperity statement: we believe that true prosperity is a sense of fulfillment in every area of our lives, our minds, our bodies, our emotions, and our circumstances. We are richly, bountifully, and beautifully prospered in every good way. So it is, and so we let it be. And our statement of peace: we stand for peace. We stand for love. We stand for forgiveness. We honor the many names for God, the many paths to God, the many ways to worship God. For there is only one power and presence of God, and God loves each one of us equally. We urge all nations, their leaders, and their people to turn to God by whatever name, and to pursue peace. For peace honors the God of all faiths. We stand for peace in our lifetime. Amen. And now we'll have the daily word from Pam.
Okay, today is Sunday, March 6, 2022, and the word for today is glory. My life celebrates the glory of God. Glory fills the world with wonder when I attune my senses to it. I hear it in the sound of waves crashing on a beach and in the resonant harmony of a choir. I see it in sunrises and sunsets, in the beauty of gardens, mountains, and forests, and in the eyes of parents holding their newborn child. I feel glory in the depths of my being at those moments when I understand my life as God's life, living as me. There is no place where my human self ends and the divine presence in me begins. God and I are one. The glory of God is revealed in me as I release the thoughts that I am only human. God's glory shines through me as the divine presence, the Christ expressing in my healthy body, my insightful mind, and my loving heart. And from the scriptures, and it is no longer I who live, but it is Christ who lives in me. And that's from Galatians chapter 2, verse 20. The word for today is glory.
Thank you, Pam. And I'll mute now, and we're back to you, Mary.
Thank you, Pam, for reading that. That was beautiful. I didn't know what the word for today was, and I'm going to incorporate it into the talk. I love it when divine timing happens like that. So our subject for today is God and Dog, what I've learned from both sides. Now, I was inspired to do this talk from the following song that was written by Wendy Francisco, and she also illustrated it. So I'm going to share with you this video, and then we'll start talking. So here's the share. Screen share. There we go. I want to go. That's been optimized. Good. And we're going to make it big. And we're going to hit play.
I look up and I see God. I look down and see my dog. Simple spelling G-O-D. Same word backwards, D-O-G. They would stay with me all day. I'm the one who walks away. But both of them just wait for me and dance at my return with glee. Both love me no matter what. Divine God and canine mutt. I take it hard each time I fail, but God forgives. Dog wags his tail. God thought up and made the dog. Dog reflects a part of God. I've seen love from both sides now. It's everywhere. Amen. Bow wow. I look up and I see God. I look down and see my dog. And in my human frailty, I can't match their love for me.
Isn't that beautiful? Oh, yeah. Looks like a lot of people enjoyed that. And Rosie just barked. So, oh, I'm sorry. I need to get out of this and get back to my notes. So thank you for your patience. All right. I look up and I see God. I look down and see my dog. So you've all probably heard of that, backwards God and dog thing. So here's a little story about how how dog got its name. When God had made the earth and sky, the flowers and the trees, he then made all the animals, the fish, the birds, and beasts. And when at last he'd finished, not one was quite the same. God said, I'll walk this earth of mine and give each one a name. And as he traveled far and wide, and everywhere he went, a little creature followed him until its strength was spent. When all were named upon the earth and in the sky and sea, the little creature said, Dear Lord, there's not one left for me. Kindly God said to him, I've left you to the end. I've turned my own name back to front and call you dog, my friend. Author unknown for that one. So what have I learned from both sides, from God and dog? I have learned all the things that I said in that song. I've learned joy or smiling. I've learned to be present. I've learned forgiveness. And I've learned love. I've learned joy and more joy from my dog. And there's probably plenty of you that if you've had pets, there's probably a chance that you are watching puppy videos to give you that joy, in addition to looking down and seeing your dog and having it wag with glee when you return. So Jesus said, I have come that you may have life and live it to the fullest. To me, that is abundant life in all its forms. We think of joy to the world, the Lord has come, right? That's, to me, that's why we're here, to have this experience with our physical senses. Dogs have taught me how to smile, to laugh out loud. There's even a word when a dog races around and around and around for the sheer joy of running. People call it zoomies, like we're having a Zoom right now. Maybe that's where it came from. I don't know. But I've definitely seen my dog Rosie run just for the sheer joy of it. She's not chasing anything. She's just running. And that always makes me smile and sometimes makes me laugh out loud. So they have brought us joy. Dogs have also taught me to be present. The Bible says, do not be afraid. Be not afraid. This is one of the phrases that's repeated over and over and over again. I had a dog named Doug a couple years ago, Jeff and I. He came to us when he was 10 years old. And his previous family was going through a lot of turmoil and needed a new home for him. And according to his previous master, she manifested us. She saw still waters in a dream. And the fact that we were able to take care of Doug was a miracle for her. Doug also taught me that because he was kind of my first love that died, right? This was something that I loved, that I saw every day, that I was responsible for, that I took care of. This is the first thing in my life that died. So Doug taught me to not be afraid of death. I was afraid of death before, and I'm not anymore. He taught me about divine timing, because 1 year after Doug, the dog, died, my mom died. And a year after my mom died, my dad died. The lessons I learned came in perfect order, just the right time. Doug taught me to be present in addition to not being afraid. Jeff and I, had to make the decision of Doug's death, of euthanasia, of what most people say, putting down their dog or their other pet. We choose to say that we lifted him up, because I look up and I see God. So I wanted to look up and see my dog. Doug was present until the very end. We took him out the night before to Foster's Burgers, and he got to eat a burger and a chocolate shake because, well, we know that chocolate's not good for dogs, but oh well, he was present to the moment, and he totally was joyous while he was eating that hamburger and drinking that shake. And the day of his death, I made a whole bunch of bacon because I was thinking a bunch of people might come. I had invited friends to come and celebrate the end of life with Doug and Jeff and I. And only 2 people came and none of us ate bacon. So guess who got to eat a whole pound of bacon? Doug the dog. And he was present until the very end. He was trying to eat that bacon, even as he was falling asleep, even as he died. He was present. And for me, being present can sometimes take off that edge of fear for the future, or anxiety or sadness about the past. My dog has taught me to be present. I believe that God is forgiveness. Jesus of Nazareth, right, the master, taught us to forgive. How many times? 7 times, 70 times. It's a lot of times. And even when people killed him, he said, they know not what they do. My dogs have taught me to forgive. When my puppy pooped on things or ate things, it didn't really know what it was doing. It was just being a puppy. Right? Rosie, our current dog, accidentally, well, not accidentally for her, she had forgotten that David was our friend. And when he went to walk into her house, she snapped at him. She was trying to protect us and protect our house. She was just being Rosie. She did not know what she was doing. She wasn't biting a friend. She was protecting the house. I have felt forgiveness from dogs. At the Humane Society where I used to volunteer, dogs would come in that had been abused by people or that had been covered with burrs. And as I went to clean them and to cut the burrs out of their fur, they didn't snap at me. They had good reason to snap at any human who had hurt them before. I've learned forgiveness from my dogs. And last but not least, I have learned love. My favorite passage in the Bible is that God is love. And I believe God is love, and I believe love is God. The receiving love comes first, and experience God and experience love through my 5 physical senses of hearing, of seeing, of touching, sometimes of smelling, sometimes of tasting, right? Get to people's heart through their stomachs with really good food, right? We can't give what we don't know or what we don't have. And so that opportunity to experience love from other people and as well as from my pets has been very powerful for me. I felt love from my childhood dog, Tony, when he jumped off the dock to try to rescue me when I was swimming. I have felt love every time I come home and Rosie really, really, really wants to say hi to me and be happy. We've trained her to call that couch time so that she waits until we've put our packages down and have opportunity to spend with her on the couch with her wagging and being all excited to see us. There are so many examples of love from our pets that I'm sure you have in your memory as well. I'd like you to think about all the things you've learned about God and your values and your faith from your pets, especially from your dogs. And I'd like to hear at the end of this talk some of your stories. I'm going to ask Mr. Wolf, Jeff, my husband, that same question. What are some values or things that you have learned from your pets, especially your dog? Jeff?
One of the perhaps more unusual things that I've learned is that no matter how long we've been gone with Rosie and with other dogs, there is no sense of time. If you drive out the driveway and forget something you needed to mail or whatever, you drive back in, your return is celebrated as if you've been gone for hours and hours and hours. If you are gone for hours and hours, you're still celebrated. And she does this dance and welcomes us back. And Mary and I took time to think about that. And our dogs are teachers. And so what did we learn from that? We learned that no matter how long a person is absent from us, it's okay to celebrate their return. So Mary and I have adopted you want to show them, Mary? We do this, you have to be in front of the camera, not me.
I'm greeting you with my whole body.
Yeah, okay.
Wag.
We do this wag thing and celebrate each other's return. And it's a small thing, but It's being aware of a relationship and rejoicing in that relationship. Sometimes when it's a long-term relationship, such as 10 years now or longer, we have a tendency to take people for granted and we don't celebrate them. So dogs have taught me how to celebrate relationships and just the joy. Number two, we postpone our happiness sometimes until we have the right thing. Well, Rosie has some favorite toys. There's one that she is absolutely passionate about, and there are a couple of others too, a little shark and a little gator, and the ball she has. And when they're available, she runs around with those. We'll throw them and she'll go get them and come back and whatever. And then we'll be outside and she doesn't have any of her toys. And she wants that same excitement. We didn't bring her ball out or anything. She will find a rock or a stick or anything. And then she throws it for herself and goes running across the yard, find it, pick it up, run back. And there's all this joy over a stone, a piece of gravel.
Yeah.
She did not postpone her joy until she got back into the house or until we had the ball or whatever. She found joy and then found an object to express that joy. I found the same thing in the slums, the ghettos down in Costa Rica. They had a soccer ball made of tape, duct tape wrapped together. They didn't wait until they had a real soccer ball. They enjoyed, and the smiles. So two things: celebrating relationships, finding joy when often we would have a tendency to postpone it. And that's probably enough for me.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate your sharing. So, what have I learned from my pets? What have I learned from both sides? Joy, forgiveness, being present, and love. I'm going to sing a song that will lead us into meditation. And this song is by a man named Stefan Walliger. And he wrote it after an experience of a relationship with a number of people that ended up in a big argument and people walking out. And he wanted to figure out what could have been done differently. And he wanted to figure out in relationship how we can love each other, how we can be more godlike for each other. And so this song is about listening. It's about seeing. It's about opening. And I invite you to sing along, even though we won't be able to hear you, by echoing each line that I sing. And that will take us into meditation. So get comfortable. When I listen to you, when I hear your voice, I hear the voice of God. When I look in your eyes, when I see your face,
When I see your face,
I see the face of God.
I see the face of
When I open to you, when you touch my heart,
when you touch my heart.
we touch the heart of God.
We touch.
We see the face of God.
We see the face of God.
We hear the voice of God. Hallelujah. 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 What I've learned from both sides, from God and from dogs, is to love unconditionally, to smile freely, to give thanks, and to forgive. What have you learned?
This is a time for sharing, so everybody unmute and share your doggy stories. We'll call on you if you raise your hand. Pam.
Um, dogs, well, and animals, because my cat as well, seem to always know when you're upset, when you're, feeling anything less than whole. And and they just come and they sit with you. And I think that that's something that we as adults have trouble doing, is just sitting, holding someone, giving them a nice hug, and not having to solve the problem, just being there. And I've tried to learn that, because when I'm feeling that way, I don't need someone to solve my problem. I just need someone to recognize my hurt.
Right. Thank you so much, Pam. That is so true. And for me, I try to be like that too for other people. And I love it. I believe that God is that way for me. Thank you, Pam.
Someone else? Jody?
I'm thinking, one thing I was thinking of is kind of what goes along with what Pam was saying. You brought back a lot of memories of a dog that is now passed. But I remember one time, and I don't even know where he was in the house. I was carrying laundry down the stairs, and it got to like maybe the last 4 steps, and I kind of turned my ankle and tripped and kind of caught myself. I didn't really hurt myself, but I fell down those last little bits of steps. And before I hit the bottom, he was there. He ran across the house, he ran down the steps, and he was sitting there right beside me, see if I need anything, you know. And so that idea that he's always alert, he's listening out for what, you know, for what's going on in my life, you know, that's something that I thought of.
And in a spiritual context, I saw an angel. I'd only had this dog for a year, and the only time he really acted like a stereotypical golden retriever was when there was this whole parade of ducks walking by, and the door was accidentally open, and he ran after the ducks and almost into the street. And if any other car had been running by, but the woman who did reach out the window and grab his collar, I would have only known him for a year.
That's right.
And,
That's right. Yeah.
and so if somebody couldn't get their window down, that was a miracle. So
Yeah, she reached out and grabbed him. Yeah.
we never saw her again.
Yeah, she was. She didn't live in our neighborhood, but what happened from that incident was because there was the adult and all the little, you know, the little ducks following along. People came out from all over the neighborhood trying to find them, trying to remember, because they were everywhere. They were scattered everywhere. And the mother was back down at the pond, and there's all these people parading down the street, carrying little ducks, trying to get them back. And so he kind of brought the neighborhood together that day. Yeah. It's you know, our dog was not really a dog. He thought he was a person. Occasionally he acted like a dog. But one thing that this image you brought in my mind, it didn't matter, you know, where we went, like you said, how long, like Jeff said, you were gone. But whenever the whole family left, whenever we drove back into the driveway, he was there looking. We have these long lace curtains, so they're easy to, his head was looking out the window with these curtains coming down beside him, just looking. And I used to think, was he always there from the time we left until we came home? But what I noticed after a while was that if one person went out and there were other people in the house, about, I don't know, 2 minutes before they got home, he'd go to the window because he recognized the sound of their car coming down the road. I think that's,
Yes.
or else he had some knowledge that they were on their way home. But there's those kind of stories, you know, of, you know, my grandfather's dog, meeting him every day at the same time, at the same place, coming home from work, you know, that kind of stuff, you know, when he'd get to this one, when they dropped him off, he would walk home with them. And the time, he'd be at home, get up, go walk down the street to where he had to go meet him. And he had that time in his mind, or that routine, but they were always there for you. That's what I'm thinking. They're waiting. They're always there for you. But I could go on and on, so I need to stop.
No, I thank you both, Zach and Jody. It reminds me of what Wendy, the author of that song with the I look up and I see God, I look down and see my dog. Her Bible verse was, I would never leave you or forsake you. So thank you for sharing that, you guys.
Yeah, they've actually studied the perceptions of the dog. They would have somebody in a park miles away, and then at some point they would decide to come home, and then they were monitoring the dog at home. And the dog, at that moment that they decided to go, the dog actually shifted its behavior, went to the door, or became more aware. So there is a definite spiritual connection. Then it's been worked out, scientifically, I guess you could say.
Oh, cool. Cool. Yeah, I remember this anthropology professor talking about, then when they're studying animals and humans, that they can't study dogs because dogs aren't considered, they can't be considered by not being influenced by human development in their evolution. So they're not pure enough to study and compare like other wild animals and dogs. They're too, they've adapted some, our emotions or whatever that, because they were domesticated, early. So anyway, interesting.
There she is.
Aw, look.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that Bob had his cat. So Bob, what's your cat's name?
Prince,
Prince.
king of my lap.
Mary, we everybody knows that that old saying, the dyslexic minister in search of dog. And as far as Jeff is concerned, or the story about how a dog will throw their own stick or get a rock. Well, humans, remember the time when we actually went to a store to pay for a pet rock?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was in our transitional phase from humans to spiritual beings. We had to have pet rocks. I'll share while you're thinking of your other stories. Everything's relatable to animals. They have a sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth sense. They know when we need them. Jessie has been very ill with over the years with fibromyalgia and other things, and one of our rescues would just flop down on her lap. Knew it. Okay. Now I couldn't go over to comfort her because that was he would growl like crazy. He was a mean little doggy because he was abused, but his name was Buddy. But he was no buddy of mine, I can tell you that. However, he did love his massage in the morning for his arthritis because he was getting older. He lived till 21 years.
Wow.
21 years old. He was a mix between a Pomeranian and a Papillon. And the other thing that I remember is about Maggie, the dog that my children grew up with. And the poor thing, they would fight over who would sleep with her at night. And it just drove me crazy because she was such just a beautiful soul. And we were, and she couldn't take the screaming. So we had to, okay, this is your day. You get him on Tuesday and Wednesday, get Maggie. And Maggie was the run of the litter. She was an Apsalasa. And she had an overbite, so they couldn't show her. But that was the greatest animal we ever had. She had running fits around the house. She would go off the top of the stairs into the 6 stairs into the family room. And when she jumped, she'd be half the length of the family room. And then she'd come back up again and run like crazy. The one time that I remember, and I tell this story often, is that Jessie used to make sloppy joes, and I love sloppy joes. Well, we had some friends over, we went down to the family room, and Maggie wasn't down there, and we came back up relatively soon. She was on top of the kitchen table, Now, you know, Lhasas have long beards. Her beard was totally engrossed and covered with spaghetti sauce. You could barely make up her eyes. Everything has sauce on it. I got so mad because I love my sloppy joes. But you know, you get over it, and you can tell those stories later on. But karma is pretty good. It happens. It's an international law, because she knew now how to push the chair out and get on the kitchen table. So we come home, and she'd be up on the kitchen table crying. We could hear her coming up the driveway, crying from inside. She didn't know how to get off the kitchen table because there was no mats on it. So she'd be up there for hours. But thank God she didn't pee or anything, but it was like, oh my God. So we have stories. Everybody's got stories about their animals.
So Neil, that reminds me, if I were you, and also I have learned responsibility, how to be responsible, how to take care of these, things, right? And how God takes care of me then too, as well as forgives me if I was up on that table. So thank you for sharing that. Does anyone else have a story they'd like to share before we finish today?
I want to share. My mic was off when you asked me the name of my cat. I don't know if anybody heard, but
Prince.
his name is Prince, King of my lab.
Oh, yeah.
King of,
Prince Valiant.
I love it.
And I go on YouTube and I play the YouTube recording of Beethoven's Fourth Piano Concerto, and I play every keystroke on Prince's back and spine, and he just in heaven. He's in
He's
tune
a
with the music.
cat. Right.
And Buddy, who is the dog, our black lab, who is not king of my lab because he weighed 95 pounds, he's gone. And we're anxiety ridden about what kind of dog to get and to replace Buddy, because Buddy was he'd always look at you and his you'd say Buddy and he'd go. But this is
Thank
Prince.
you, Bob. Thank you, Prince, for it's been shown scientifically that as we're touching others and as you're petting Prince, there's a good chance that your heart rate is getting calm, your breath rate, your breathing rate is being calmed. And so by touching, not only is Prince receiving that touch, but you are receiving that calmness from that relationship. And
Actually, I
yeah.
was told by a
both
vet
ways.
that holding the cat at the chest and at the butt is a embrace.
Mm,
They feel your energy is going through them.
nice.
Yeah. Oh.
Beautiful.
You have a beautiful dog too. What's his name?
Her name is Rosie.
Rosie. I was awake. Believe me, I heard that now. I remember.
Okay. Awesome.
We do our affirmations for Love, Orphans, and Ties now,
Yes, please.
because we are very grateful to have you, and it was a lovely message, and there's just so much healing. Jessie, my wife, misses having a dog so much, just petting a dog and holding it, but we have been so grateful. Many of us have been touched by animals,
Oh,
some bitten by animals too, maybe. I think the human bite is far more dangerous and hurtful than a dog bite. So our affirmations for Love, Offerings, and Tithes. We are a very grateful community. Divine love flowing through us blesses and multiplies all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. Amen.
Man. So I'm going to share a couple more slides and then we will sing Let There Be Peace on Earth. How do I share? Come on, Mary, you remember.
And Zach, after this Peace on Earth, we'll share.
Oh yeah, there's lots of jokes. Plenty of jokes.
I saw that on Facebook the other day.
You saw this one on Facebook?
Yeah.
New approach to care. Talk to myself the same way I talk to dogs. Hey, sweet girl. Oh, look at that beautiful belly. You're so clever. Do you want a treat? Ice cream, says my husband. That's his treat. Dogs make me smile. Is this dog doing yoga?
Brilliant.
Dog swimming underwater. I'm hilarious. All righty. Okay. I'm going to sing us out with The Sacred in All, and then we'll sing Let There Be Peace on Earth. Do you guys want the words, or do you want to leave with the puppy face?
Puppy face is fine.
Puppy
Yeah.
face? Puppy face is fine. Okay. Love go before you, leave peace behind you. Send the angels to guide you on your left and your right. Great Father above you, gentle Mother below you, will teach you and show you the sacred in all. 'Cause if you see with God's eyes, hear with his ears, if you touch with God's hand, she will calm all your fears. Open your heart, help your mind understand the sacred in all. So love go before you, leave peace behind you. Send the angels to guide you on your left and your right. Great Father above you, gentle Mother below you, will teach you and show you the sacred in all. Will teach you and show you the sacred in all. I need the words, sorry. Let there be peace on earth, and let it be with me. Let be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be with God, its creator, family of we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now.
And right now.
Every step I take, let this be my song. To take each moment and each moment with peace eternal. Started and let it
Begin.
with me.
And our prayer for protection: the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us in the presence of God and dog. watches over us. Wherever we are, God and dog is. And so it is.
All is well.
All is swell.
Thank you. All is swell. I love it.
If you want to leave the recording on a little bit for some dog jokes, if you have some, Mary.
Sure. I want to hear yours first and Zach's especially because, I wouldn't want to interrupt the professionals.
Oh, I think we can be interrupted. That's fine.
Zach, you go first, buddy.
Do you have any dog jokes, Zach? You have to unmute. Unmute. You have to unmute. You're muted. Yeah, that's kind of important.
I have the one that I'm sure about, but I'm pretty sure since I was sure about it that I have told it before. The two guys duck hunting, and they aren't really getting anything, and they keep wondering, are they not shooting right? What are they doing? And one of them just turns to the other and says, "Hey, maybe we're not throwing the dog high enough."
Maybe we're not throwing the dog high enough.
Good one. Good one.
No. Okay. It's a simpler one. Why did the poor dog chase his tail?
Why?
Why?
He was trying to make both ends meet. Okay. More? Other people have more? These are all puns, so please save
Go ahead, because I
yourselves.
got some knock-knock jokes. So go ahead with your dog jokes.
Okay. How do dogs travel across the country?
How do dogs travel across the country?
They take the Greyhound.
The Greyhound.
Okay.
The dog's favorite city?
What?
A dog's favorite city is New Yorkie. What happens when it rains cats and dogs? Oh, Jeff knew that one. Yep.
Poodle.
Why did the dog cross the road?
Why?
Why?
Did you hear Jeff?
No.
Yeah.
Jeff, for some reason you're not on.
We didn't hear the last punchline either.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Jeff has to unmute. Okay, I'm unmuting Jeff. Jeff, you have to go to your own computer and
No, I
unmute.
don't. I'm on the same system that you're on.
We
Mary.
can hear him now. We can
Yeah.
hear him.
Yes, Jeff, you hear him now. Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay,
I was
so
very quiet.
he was very quiet. So what was the punchline to what happens when it rains cats and dogs?
You step in a poodle.
Yes. Okay.
Didn't hear-
Why did the dog cross the
I didn't
road?
hear that.
Step in a poodle.
Step in a poodle.
Step
Okay.
in a poodle.
Bob heard it. Okay.
Why did the dog cross the road?
Why?
You eat the chicken.
To eat the chicken. I like that one better. To get to the barking lot.
To get to the parking lot.
What do you call a dog in winter?
What?
A chili dog.
That's
And here's the last one, I promise. Why are dogs like our phones?
Why?
Why?
Because they have caller IDs.
Mm.
Okay.
Really bad.
All
I
right.
told you, promised. Okay, I'm done.
All right, Zach. This was supposed to be your lead-in, but there are three knock-knock jokes. Okay. The first one, knock knock.
Who's there?
Figs.
Figs who?
Figs the darn doorbell. I've been knocking for hours.
No.
Okay, another doorbell joke. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Noble.
Noble who?
Nobel. That's why I knocked, you turkey. Okay, this is for it's kind of like Italian traveling joke for Marianne because they're not here. All right.
Okay.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Alpaca.
Alpaca who?
I'll pack it a suitcase. You pack it a car. But
Um,
and now it's official. I think we're not going to tape anymore.
okay.
Taping, especially of jokes.
Okay, go ahead. Any more jokes before I stop?
I wasn't going to do this one, but the quality of these has encouraged me, so this might be a good thing.
Good time to do it.
So why can't you rob a bank with a gun made of Jello?
Why can't you rob a bank with a gallon of Jello? I don't
The
know.
gun made out of.
Gun made of
Gun-
Jello.
Lemon out of Jello. Okay. I had no idea.
I don't know. Tell us.
Because it's illegal to carry a concealed weapon.
Illegal
Oh,
to carry a congealed weapon.
A congealed weapon.
Right.
Okay. Now it's official. Now we will stop the recording.
No, no, boo.
Okay.
Right. Well, thank you for the vaudevillian